Okay, you guys, we're doing something a little bit different today. So this is just the intro to the video. I am sharing with you one of the sessions that I recorded for the kiddos. My Hot Cocoa with Dawni, it's not a subscription. It's a program, right? 10 classes. And this one, Law of Correspondence. Can you freaking believe I'm trying to teach kids about the Law of Correspondence, but I realized a lot of adults don't know about this one. So I wanted to share it for two reasons. I wanted to share it because I think it'll be of value for you. And I want to share it because now you know the type of thing that I'm doing for kids. So it's to create value and as sort of like a commercial for you. So when you watch this, if you feel like it's something your kids, your grandkids, your nieces and nephews, your best friends' kids, right, will benefit from, then buy the freaking program, okay? Early bird price, $95. I hope you enjoy this. I'm just going to be honest and tell you, as soon as I was done filming it, I burst into tears because I was so overwhelmed by the thought of what's possible for our kids to understand this concept and all these concepts I'm teaching. So this is only 1 out of 10 videos I'm doing. I really hope you guys enjoy it. Keep in mind, I'm talking to kids, so if it's a little simpler than you would prefer, that's why. I still want your feedback. Let me know what you think about it. Enjoy. Kiddos, hi. I'm so happy to be here with you for session number 3 of Hot Cocoa with Dawni. I have my hot cocoa here, some whipped cream today. Hopefully you've got either your hot cocoa or you've got a yummy drink, a tasty snack, you're comfy and you're ready to learn the next universal law. So, law number 2 is the law of correspondence or the principle of correspondence. Kind of a big word. Some of you know what it means, some of you don't. Well, first of all, let's talk about what correspondence means. Correspondence means that something is a match to something else, that the two things match up, they correspond. Okay? So here is what the law of correspondence says. It says, so within, as you are thinking and feeling within yourself, so without, which means that how you're thinking and feeling in yourself can create your outer world. Okay? So before we go any further with this, I want you guys to understand something. This has nothing to do with blame or somebody being at fault, especially for you being at fault. This gets tricky, you guys, because I am really giving you a lot of credit that you can understand some very, very deep concepts and some very deep knowledge that will change your life. And I'm going to be even more honest with you and let you know that some grown-ups do not understand this. And there are even some people who don't think this is real, who don't think that you have any say over how your life goes by changing your thoughts and your perspectives and your attitude. There are some people that really feel like they're at the mercy of life and that whatever just comes their way, they are a victim to that. Now, as children, sometimes it's real. It's a real thing that the people around you, particularly the grown-ups in your life, make choices that you are then affected by. And I'm not taking that away from you, because there are very, very real things that happen to you, especially as children, that affect you. But I want you guys to know that you have a huge say in how your life goes. Okay? That even now, as a child, you have say over how things go. And I feel so passionately about this. You know, these are the conversations that I would have loved to have when I was your age. These are the conversations that if your parents had had at your age, it would have changed their lives. Okay, so I have a deep love and appreciation for you kids being willing to even listen to this and to try to understand it as best you can. Listen to it as many times as you want to or need to, so that you can understand these things and change your life. Now, let's say you're an 8-year-old listening to this. And maybe at 8 years old, you only have so much say in your life outside in your life. But on the inside, how much say do you have? So think back to our very, very first session. You own yourself. You own your own body, you own your own mind, and you own your own spirit. So, if you own all those things, you have say over what happens on the inside. The adults around you may make decisions that would not be what you would choose. You may have a school teacher who is everywhere, grouchy or even maybe even truly awful. You may have someone in your life who is being very unkind to you, whether that's a grown-up or a kid at school or one of your siblings. But what we're going to talk about today is going to teach you how to be powerful no matter what. And that's a big deal. No matter what the outside circumstances are, you have say over how you react to that. Okay? So I'm going to give you an example of this. Let's say that you're being bullied at school. And I'm probably going to use that example a couple of times throughout these series because that's something that's very real. I may be kind of old, but I remember very, very clearly being your ages. And I remember the kind of kids that would pick on other kids. So let's say that you're being bullied at school and how, you can speak up for yourself. You can tell somebody, you can say to the person who's bullying you, you may not talk to me like that. I won't be treated like that. You can use your voice. But the other thing that you can do is inside of your own head and your own heart, you can have the perception or the perspective that that person is treating me like this because they're hurting, not because something is wrong with me. You can have the thought and the belief, I am a beautiful, important, intelligent person, and I actually feel bad for the person that's in so much pain that they have to bully me. Now think about the difference of that way of looking at it or the way of looking at it where you believe them. Someone at school tells you that you're ugly or stupid, and you go home and you just obsess about it and you think about it over and over. I must be ugly. I must be stupid. They said it. And it ends up hurting you. It ends up hurting your heart and hurting your mind to think those things. You are the one who gets to say what thoughts and feelings you're going to keep going. You may not have say over the instant the thought comes into your mind or the instant a feeling comes into your body. But what you do have say over is what you do with it after that. So let's go into this scene. You're at school. Some kid who is probably in a lot of pain for their own reasons, which is not to excuse them, it's just to give a perspective. Some kid says to you, you are so ugly. You're the ugliest person I've ever seen. And you feel this upset go through your body. You then have a choice what you're going to do with that upset. So, are you going to believe that voice in that person, what that person said to you, or even in yourself that says, yeah, I am ugly? Or are you going to say, no, that will not help me. That will bring me pain. I am going to love myself no matter what somebody else has said to me. And I am going to fill myself with love. And sometimes that's just as simple as repeating the thoughts over and over in your mind. I am, whatever the word that means the most to you. I am lovable. I am a good person. Whatever those words are to you, until you feel a relief, like almost like a breath, like go through your body. And you powerful little creator, you have made a choice of how you are going to respond, right? That's part of the word correspondence. Think about that for a minute. Respond, correspond. How you're going to respond from inside of you. And right the minute you do that, you take power back. Someone tries to take your power from you, you own yourself. So in that moment, you take the power back. And what that does is you then are back inside your own body, inside your own mind, inside your own power. And you've created something very powerful and beautiful inside of yourself. And the outside world will respond to that. Okay? And if this doesn't make sense, I want you to think about if there's some kid on the playground and they're like, nobody likes me. Even if you can understand why they're saying that, there's something that kind of pushes you away from somebody who says that. Right? They're feeling sorry for themselves. And you want to feel sorry for them, but you almost get this feeling of like pushing away from them. They're putting out an attitude into the world that you are then responding to. So if you respond to the way other people act and speak and even the feelings that are coming off of them, then people are doing that same thing with you. How much more, if you're deciding who you want to invite on a vacation with your family, and you get to invite one friend, which friend are you going to invite? The one who's very negative and never happy with anything and not grateful, or the one who is? You see how that law of correspondence works? They are putting out certain thoughts and energies and actions into the world, and then the world is responding. So for people who are willing to take responsibility for what's going on inside of them, and then put something really amazing out into the world will give them opportunities, will give them amazing chances for really wonderful things. Does this make sense? I know that it can be a little like, again, listen to this as many times as you need to, but this is a way that you can remember no matter what is going on outside of you, you have say on what's going on inside of you, and that will start to shift what's going on outside of you. Now let's look at it in a negative way. We're going to look at the negative piece of this so you can really, really get it. So let's say that you've had a really bad day. Everything has gone wrong so far. It's only lunchtime and you've had an awful morning. You woke up late, your mom yelled at you, you spilled your cereal, you missed the school bus, whatever. And you've just had a really rough morning. And that rough morning has put you in a really bad mood. And instead of shifting your perspective or your attitude, you've decided to give in to that bad mood. So you have gotten grouchier and grouchier as the day's gone on, which then starts creating things outside of you to go even worse. This is what we call a vicious cycle or a vicious circle, is when one thing creates that thing, which creates that thing, and it starts going in a circle. It starts spitting out, right? Sorry, I have to have some of my yummy hot cocoa. When we choose to respond to negative things in a negative way, we put more negativity out into the world, which brings us more negativity. At some point, at any point that you choose, you can stop that cycle. You can change your attitude. You can change the way that you're seeing things, right? I know you can. You have say over this. And then, as you put the new thing out in the world, new things start to come back to you. If you have somebody bullying you, and you stand up for yourself, and you refuse to believe the negative things that person is saying about you, typically they will not keep bullying you because it's not working. You're not allowing it to work. You're not putting up with it. For one thing, because you're standing up for yourself. But for another thing, you are not believing the negative things they say. And so it's not working, so they'll give up. You're not giving them that energy back. You're putting something different out into the world. This one thing can seriously change your entire life, because it puts you back in the driver's seat. Then no matter what happens, no matter what kind of mood your parents are in, no matter how your school teacher is, no matter how the kids at school are, you get to decide how you're going to respond to that. One really powerful way to, like a little assignment, if you choose to do it, none of these little assignments or tasks I give you are mandatory, meaning you absolutely have to do them. But it's a really interesting one to look at an area of your life that is not going well. So what's the area of your life that you're struggling the most in? Okay, that could be homework. That could be getting along with your brother or sister. That could be, feeling bad about the way you look. Any of those areas. What's bringing you the most stress? I want you to look at that area and I want you to ask yourself this question. Where could you change your attitude and or your perspective, how you're looking at it? How could you take responsibility just for your reactions? I'm not telling you guys to take responsibility for, other people treating you poorly or for bad things that are happening. I'm asking you to take responsibility for how you are responding to it. Does that make sense? How could you do that and shift and change the way that you are acting out there? And then this is an experiment. That's a better word for it. Let's call this an experiment rather than an assignment or, that makes it sound like homework. But in a way, like experiment with it. I want you to change something about your attitude, your perspective, and then see if it changes what happens on the outside. Now give it a little bit of time. Sometimes it happens immediately and sometimes it takes longer. But this is a practice. This is something that you can do more and more and more to the point where I'm at, now at my age, and you guys aren't going to have to wait nearly this long learning this information when you're so young. But now when I have a challenge or I have a struggle, my first question is that. My first question in my brain is, how can I change the way I'm looking at this? How can I change my attitude about this? How can I respond to somebody being grouchy with me or being negative with me in a way that is empowering to me, where I still stand up for myself, speak my truth, but don't take on any of the negativity. And what has happened for me over time is that things that are negative, they shift very, very quickly now. Because I'm the one who is in charge of that. I'm the one who says how I respond. And you are the one who says how you respond. So, law of correspondence. So within, so without. Another really powerful way to look at this is when you're wanting to not just fix things that are negative, but create things, manifest things. You want something in the world, and so what you do with that is that you get really clear about what you want. And here is a really fun way that I used to do it as a kid, still do it as an adult. I had what I called my little spell book. I had this beautiful leather, kind of like an envelope thing, right? That was filled with a notebook. And I would write down on a piece of paper, this is exactly what I want. And then figure out what would be a very powerful way of focusing on that. Like really imagining it and getting excited about it and putting it out in the world so that it will come back to you. You may not have any idea how it will come back to you, but law of correspondence, so within, so without. You're very clear about what you want. You've written it down. If it's appropriate, you've let people around you know, hey mom, just so you know, I'm really working on getting a red bike in the next 2 months. You look up online what exactly the bike looks like, how much it costs. If there's anything that you can do to create that, you earn extra money doing chores around the house. You definitely take action in the real world, but you also focus in a positive way, having really excited feelings about that thing, and you start to magnetize it to you. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have to take actions. I'm a big fan of also taking action, but understanding that the way that we're looking at things, thinking about things, feeling about things makes a difference in the world. This is huge. This isn't about, magical thinking, although I don't know that there's anything wrong with magic, but this is really about understanding the way this realm, meaning the earth that we live in, works. I really hope this all makes sense to you. I get so excited, and I know I get kind of like talking with my hands and very, very passionate and sometimes even a little bit emotional as I'm talking to you, because I care so much that you have an amazing life. And I care so much that you understand that that you have power. That you're not just a kid who is at the mercy of all these outside forces, that you have say over how you get along in this world and how you react and how you respond. I know that you are capable of doing this, that you're capable of understanding these things. And honestly, I hope that you enjoy these talks. I hope that you're, cuddled up in a soft blanket with a big old cup of hot chocolate with whipped cream, whatever your thing is, and that you know this is just for you. That you have something that's just for you, and that you have someone besides your parents who loves you, who adores you, who roots for you every day, who is a cheerleader for you, encouraging you to be the most amazing, confident, happy, and empowered version of yourself. I'm excited for our next session, and I'll see you then. All right, what'd you think? Huh? Were you listening to it, picturing what it would have been like if you had known this information when you were 9 years old, when you were 15, when you were 18? Okay, if you loved it, let me know if you have suggestions on how I could improve it, because Hot Cocoa with Dawni is just the beginning, guys. This first 10 series is just the beginning of what I'm doing for kids and teens. So I'm totally open to your suggestions. And get it ordered. Get it ordered. I want this to spread like wildfire. I want to change the lives of these children and help change the planet, because they're the ones that are going to do it, and we know this. I love you guys. May your coffee be strong and your life be blessed. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. And if you would be interested in working with me further, you can check out DawniAngel.com. I would love to come speak to your group, come to your business to do a training, be on your podcast, my personal favorite, or even work with you one-on-one.